Hello folks, Wolf and Ninja here bringing you another nerdy video. Now, it's been so long since I did a video, especially one of these types of videos. Oh god, wow. I've been just stacked with stuff like D&D and, like other stuff like that. Like, it's just unbelievable. Every time I get some free time, I've been, mostly trying to take it for myself, which is important, especially with given the situation. I can't go out, I can't exactly go out and whatnot, as you all can understand. So and because my friends, some friends know that I'm available, like they want to do stuff. So I've been mostly looking after myself mentally whenever I do get any free time, which is why I haven't been doing any videos. Because as much as I enjoy doing the videos, they are a bit stressful. Making sure that they're in a nice sizable chunk, but at the same time not being too long, and then trying to then make sure I do another one. So it has been very hectic for me personally. But I put off doing the video long enough. I might have been able to do a video last week, but Ludosport is cancelled because of the whole restrictions. And technically we could have met up last week, but due to the restrictions of the hall, we decided to put off, restarting Ludo Sport. So, and because of that, I have extra time now. Which is why I'm doing this video, is because I want to start doing videos again, but I was hoping to restart with my fight, the Ludo Sport combat matches. Sorry, the sparring matches, but I can't. So anyway, let's get this out of the way. This video is in two parts. It's an apology for something. Let's see, Han. It's one of my earliest videos in terms of D&D. Now, unfortunately, because I don't do editing and whatnot, generally I keep my videos raw. And again, that's just the type of videos I want to do. I want to do raw videos, no editing, no effects. So what you get is everything. So that's why often enough you may, in some let's play series, you might hear me swear, and that's due to the fact that I'm reacting at the same time as you. So let's see if I can find this video. Now, it was brought to my attention by let's see here, scrolling down again. I have to scroll past so many Ludosport and Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor videos, and even some Anthem videos. But again, as I said, it's one of my earliest videos, and I did not notice this mistake. No one pointed out. Commenters didn't point out until this year. A commenter did not point out, and I want to say thank you. I definitely want to say thank you to this YouTuber. So that's why I'm trying. That's why I am trying to find the video. Okay, it's. I have to go further back. Here we go. Now, just gonna pause the video. See, the reason why I didn't think there was any issue was because one of the first comments I got, I also decided to shift the camera so I can see my monitor a bit better. Now, one of the reasons why I probably didn't catch it was because I've seen people, some people have been commenting. One of the first comments I got was, "Thanks, man, really helpful on the D100." So I'm actually going to quickly. The video is 13 minutes long, because I talk. I'm going to try and see if I can quickly get to the. Okay, so so I do show the D100s. Okay, odd. Now, see, okay, in all fairness, I should have verified the person's comment before replying. Let's see how I'm scrolling. Well, one person saying helpful and annoying. Mind you, I replied to them and they never got back to me why it was annoying. I believe it was probably because of background noise, which unfortunately my videos are. I wouldn't say notorious, but like unfortunately it's something I have to tolerate. Um. Uh. You never pulled out a D100 to show us how to read it, so your video is misleading. Okay, see this. Okay, okay. So here it is. The commenter is Sasha Saitana. Now, mind you, technically, I'm sorry if to this commenter if it feels like I'm throwing him under the bus. I don't mean it to be that way. It's just I don't remove comments, and they're out there for the world to see. So anyone watching this video, if they're curious, they could easily look at the comment and see quite clearly who I'm referring to. So this person commented, okay, two things. One, the D100 isn't discontinued, and two, just get one in black and white so it's easy to read. Also, you never pulled out a D100 to show us how to read it, so your video title is misleading. Now, as for the D100, I'm referring to the ball. Now, to my knowledge, again, this is just to my knowledge. I'm sorry if my statement it turns out like I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, fair enough. I have not seen the ball D100 in any official capacity. I've only ever seen them, on Amazon or whatever. But like, all proper D&D stuff, like in terms of official stuff, like you see the 2D100, you see the 2D10s. So, but by the knowledge that I have from friends who have played with the D100 when it was actually part of an actual set, and like again, like my knowledge is coming from other people and what I've seen. That's why I assumed it's discontinued. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Thank you for correcting me, if that's the case. Now, it's not so that I wasn't. No, it's not the color that I mentioned. It was the what's it called? Hard to read. It was the fact that because it's a sphere, and because of the way all the numbers are placed on it, it can be difficult to read. And again, I've seen players and I've talked to players and DMs who did have it, and they're like, yeah, it was an actual nightmare. Like they had players arguing, no, it's actually this number that's on top, and so. Also, I do want to give one shout out because I was going to take out my dice and actually do it, but it turns out I did show the D100s. Well, the way you're supposed to do a D100 in the current edition, which is with 2D10s. This is my dice box from. It was made by a friend of my mother's. She's on Instagram. The company she has where she makes these. She hand makes these, by the way, is Synprops. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, search them up, and it looks absolutely amazing. I have another smaller dice box which has like a dragon on top, and so like it's like it stays open like this when you undo the latch, and I've been using this bit here as a dice tray. So yeah, there's also other stuff. It's not just D&D. So check out Synprops. It's amazing. Unfortunately, I did not talk to the person before bringing them up on this, so I don't have like any special codes to give away. I'm just giving a shout out to some amazing craftsmanship. Okay. Now, there's a reason why I wanted to address this person in terms of the comments, because like there was a bit of a miscommunication, and now a part of me is now curious, like especially now, like did they actually watch my video? Because like again, as my policy, I try and comment and reply to every single person I only have like 70 subscribers. I do try and comment and reply to every comment. Now, obviously, there are some comments that I would ignore trolls. Obviously, if they're quite obviously trolls, I will actually try and ignore them. But if it's anyone serious, like this person's comments, I would try and take them seriously, and I would reply, which I did. I said, "Oh wow, thanks for the point out. I thought I did show the D10s for use of D100s, so I should do a new vid to do a better job of it." This is this video now. Again, a month late. I apologize. Now, I did that, and I'm not sure if it's misleading because of text or whatever. But funny enough, the reason why I got so fixated on doing this video was because of what this person replied next. Your video title literally says how to read D&D dice, D4 and D100. At no point in the video did you actually pull out a D100. And being a sarcastic douchebag about it isn't going to fix that. Now, luckily enough, me and this person talked after this comment, and, you know, we were able to clear the air. So this is why I would, any small YouTuber like me or whatever, like if anyone who's watching this, if you plan on doing your own videos, you have to be careful when you're reading your comments. Sometimes a person may sound like they're being mean, but they may not be. Or you may reply trying to be polite, but then it may come off as somewhat. So again, like this is just a situation where you have to be very careful with your words. Now, as I said, me and this person discussed further. I'm not going to read out the entire chain, but at the same time, like we cleared the air, and you know. And again, I am thankful. I'm always thankful for criticism and, you know, feedback and looking for ways to get better. Like I said, like one person literally commented 3 months ago, helpful and annoying. Like, yeah, I could have you know hid that comment or whatever, but no, I said I'm taking it full force. I say I'm glad it was helpful, and I'm sorry if something in the video was annoying. I most likely know what was annoying, and all I can say is that it was an issue that I have attempted to avoid in later videos, which again I do. I now try and do my videos up in my room, so that way I don't have to worry about stuff, and I also often try doing the videos when my brother was at school. So I did, you know, and all that. But mind you, I do have 3 dogs, so and I don't have a studio or anything like that. So what can I do with 3 dogs? You know, I'm sure dog owners will understand like what I'm referring to with that. Anyway, so that's sorry again. Like as I said earlier, I do videos that are just raw, and I might have just been rambling there about things. Now again, I wasn't planned to ramble for that long about the comments and whatnot. But like I'm surprised because I didn't verify the person's comment. And apparently I did talk about doing the, you know, D100 with the 2 D10s. So that's why I'm like, what? Alright. Anyway, let's get on to the next topic that I wanted to discuss with this video. Wow, this could be a bit controversial thing, and you know what? I do want to try and avoid politics in my videos. But unfortunately, this is D&D related, so I can't exactly, you know, I want to discuss it. I want to give my thoughts on the matter. I've heard through the grapevine, through multiple sources, that Wizard of the Coast plan to, again, they claim that this was planned for a while now. But like again, like take it with a grain of salt because the convenient timing of it. They apparently want to address the idea that some players have been having, especially newer players, that orcs and drow are inherently evil. Now they didn't talk about any other race, they just talked about those 2 races in particular. and how they're often just purely like, again, I guess in a lot they just felt like so many people were just treating them as like, oh yeah, if you're playing as an orc or you're playing as a drow, you must be evil, or such, despite the fact that there's Drista Erden, the famous drow adventurer who's actually good. So, with that in mind, they plan to release neutral, or like in most case neutral, or some good aligned deities for these for these races. Now, this is us. They did specify apparently that this is not going to be a complete overhaul. So, like Lalt, for example, with the Drow, Lalt is still going to be a thing. Lalt is still going to be a huge influencer in their culture, and it's the majority of Drow culture that is what's evil. And so that you're just because you're a drow, you could be from one of these small towns or villages or settlements from in the Underdark that's separated from their main kingdoms on the Underdark, and instead of following Lald, your family follows, maybe this neutral or this good aligned drow goddess or god, whichever. And that is basically to open up the idea that there's some drow cultures in the Underdark that are good, or at least neutral. Basically, they're trying to make it so that, like, because, like, think about it, there's good and evil dwarves, there's good and evil humans. Like the vast majority of campaigns that I've been in had the humans being evil, but yet it's not humans that are being treated as inherently evil. So with this, they're trying to make it so that it's not so much the drow or orcs that are inherently evil, it's the culture that they're being raised in that's evil. And also, if you hear any extra sounds, that's from my chair and probably rubbing against the wall or rubbing against my thing. So yeah. Now, as I said, the timing of this is a little convenient, so I don't know if this is a publicity stunt or if this is really something that they had planned in a while. Again, I can understand why they would have planned it for a while, but like they had a few books to come out and discuss this. Like they had Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, which literally talked about Drow. Like Drow were a big part of that book. And then there was Volo's Guide to Monsters, which then covered orcs. So they did have a couple of opportunities to add these extra deities. Like Modern Kind of Sunfoes did actually expand on elven deities. There's a new chart for them, like, so you don't have to pick the ones from the player's handbook. So that's why, as I said, I'm a little skeptical on the timing of this. I feel like they're mainly trying to capitalize on the whole situation that's going out in the world. Which again, like, I don't want to be political, but I do support the whole movement. Because like I've seen the videos, I've looked at the statistics and whatnot, and it is atrocious. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. Like, as I said, all it can do is expand on the creativity of D&D players. It's not getting rid of the evil drow culture, or the orc culture. So if you want your character to be a standalone hero, going against his home, then you can do it. No one's stopping you. They're just giving you extra options so that you don't have to be from that culture, or you don't have to be a surface dwelling dwarf drow. Now, to my knowledge, I haven't fully read the book. There's already popular campaign settings that do this, however, where the drow are not inherently evil. So that's why personally, like, I've seen comments on people discussing this, and the comments are really like, okay, the comments are either in two ways. Some people saying like, oh yeah, like they're it's a very divisive situation, but the people who are reacting negatively to it are reacting negatively to it in such a big way. Like, oh my god, there's people saying that you've ruined D&D and whatnot. Like, oh, you libtards, giving into the mass and all that. Like, and I'm just like, wow. Like again, there's some people who are reacting positively to it, but they're not like overly reacting positively to it. Whereas when I'm seeing people reacting negatively to it, it's seemingly in such an explosive way. Um, like I said, it's just another tool in the toolbox, and like, as I said, there are other campaign settings where Drow are not inherently evil. There's Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. To my knowledge, the Drow are not necessarily evil, and that it mostly depends on what guild you end up being a part of. With that, no, Drow are more commonly a part of the Golgari swarm. So I can, that's a bit of a meh type of guild. It's not necessarily evil, but it's not necessarily good. Then there's Eberron, I believe orcs and Eberron. Now, with Ravnica, it's both the orcs and the Drow. In Eberron, if I remember correctly, orcs are not inherently evil. Their culture is a bit of a mixed bag. So there's that. And then we have the latest one, which is now on D&D Beyond, Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, the campaign setting for Critical Role. Now, on the continent of Taldori, to my knowledge, if I'm remembering reading it correctly, there is a Drow settlement in the Underdark that is far to the south of Taldori, and the Drow there are, your stereotypical Drow, to my knowledge. But then you get to Wildmount, which has a whole kingdom which is mainly dominated by Drow and what's called Duras. Now, from what I'm seeing through the show and from what I read through the book, the culture is not inherently evil or good. It's a mixed bag, just like how you would get with any kind of civilization. So, yeah. So where were all these haters when these books came out? That's what I'm getting at. Personally, like if the idea of a good or neutral aligned Drow society was such a big deal for you, where was the outrage or outcry during when these books came out? So I think the timing of their announcement, again, like as I said, their timing is a little convenient. I feel like Wizards, because they're trying to catch on some positive publicity for the hobby, which again I can understand through a marketing sense, but it's also, I would also say it's definitely ill advised due to the fact that of how positively and negatively charged people are about the whole situation. So if I was them and I was planning on doing this as in terms of, because like their announcement was more so towards the Forgotten Realms. That's all it was about. Was just about the Forgotten Realms, like just expanding on that lore of this one campaign setting of D&D. So, like I said, I would have waited. I would have probably still do. I still would have done it. Like just I would have waited until things died down a bit more, so that way, it doesn't seem like a publicity stunt, or it doesn't seem like that way the people who would react negatively to it would have such an extreme reaction. They'll probably still. I have a feeling that a lot of these people still would have had a bad reaction, but it would have been much. In my opinion, it could have been much less. If it wasn't for what's going on in the world right now. Anyway, that is all for this video. I'm actually have a sore throat. I had a very long D&D game last night, and unfortunately I made plans with more friends, so I'm gonna have to do more talking. So I'm probably I need some time for myself. Probably with some Fallout 76, which I know has its own issues, but I've been playing it. It's quite interesting, the fact that the game is set 33 years after the bombs dropped, which apparently is like, that's not enough. It's interesting seeing how there's people who are trapped outside and who are not ghouls, but like I ran into one MC, he was outside when the bombs dropped, and instead of becoming a ghoul and whatnot, he was luckily enough safely safe distance, but he still has cancer. because of all the radiation he's been exposed to. But like, and the fact that there's an organization that was made up of, you know, the firefighters, the police, and all that. Like, but still though, 33 years after multiple nukes drop, yeah, those people, like, you should not open a vault and have your people go out during that. Like, so this was Vault-Tec's original plan for all the vaults, like, you know, to wait for this 33 years and then go out. I can see where Vault 101 stayed closed. Like, now mind you, we do have other in the games, we did see that there were other vaults that did wait a bit longer before they heading out, like the Boomers. They waited until radiation died down more so in the Mojave before, you know, heading out and claiming was it Nellis Airfield. Either way though. So yeah, that's again my take on this video. Is a bit of a mixed bag. It's me reacting and trying to correct a thing in the video that clearly I did not need to do, and then it's also just my thoughts on the whole controversy of good and neutral drow deities and orc deities, which again I'm fine with. It's actually funny because, okay, a little funny story to end this video on. My girlfriend, who's big into drow and all that, like in D&D, she doesn't really know much about the drows culture and all that. She just I think it's more so she likes the dark skin and the hair and whatnot. So I think she likes the drow cosmetically. Again, I don't know. I should really have her on to give her thoughts. But there have been times where she talks about the drow, like, and how they're actually good, or they're like normal people, and it's just, you know, if they want to worship Lord, let them worship Lord, type of situation. You know, like, oh, like, I'm like, that's so adorable, like, or cute, that she's just like, you know, let them live life the way they want, even though their culture is evil. So I'm like, ah, true equal right. If a person wants to be evil, let them be evil. But anyway, I was kind of talking to her about all the races, and, you know, like, also, by the way, there's another story onto this, but like, I was planning on having a discussion with her about the races and about their cultures in terms of the Forgotten Realms and what most people have them sort of being. Now, mind you, this can change from DM to DM and campaign setting. Like I said, Matt Mercer has the Drow in very polarizing situations on their continents. On Taldora, you have the traditional Drow, and then on Wildmount, you have this really interesting Xhorhas dynasty. So I was planning on having this discussion with her about that, like, you know, how in Forgotten Realms, which most people draw inspiration for Drow cultures, they're evil. And yet here we are, where then, like, like, I found this out yesterday, and I was planning on having this discussion with her today. So I'm like, wow, it's almost as if Wizards knew I was going to have like a philosophical discussion about Drow, and now they may just, you know, change things around so that the Drow are not necessarily evil. So I'll probably still have that discussion with her, because, like, you know, giving her the extra, you know, lore could still help her with, you know, potential role playing, or maybe create new interesting character backstories. Now, in terms of prejudice in D&D, though, like, I can't believe I haven't talked about this yet. But, like, my favourite race is Tieflings. Now, as described in the player's handbook, Tieflings face the most prejudice when it comes to all the races. Like, they face more prejudice than Half-Orcs, they face more prejudice than Drow. Hold on. Yeah, I'm low on battery. They face a lot of prejudice to the point where people lock their doors, or they do religious gestures when a drow is walking by. Now, again, this is not my opinion. This is mentioned in the player's handbook, and it's because of, you know, their appearance. Now, and because of this, drow naturally are chaotic. due to just because like they're getting shunned by society, so in often cases they have no choice but to commit crimes to stay alive. I was playing with this one player, which we're just gonna. I know I remember his name, so but for the sake of being respectful, though, we're just gonna refer to him as A. Okay. So I was playing this tiefling who was raised by elves. He was he was a ranger, and he was raised by elves because his human parents decided to abandon him in the forest. Now, I should also precedent that this is set in the Forgotten Realms. Now, we a my character was my character was very vocally racist towards Dragonborns because eventually dragons did obliterate his family, well, his adopted family, and all he was left with was a single sort of like smoky black scale, and the great sword of his adopted father, which he then melted down into two short swords. So he had a big issue with dragons and dragonkind, or at least races that are dragon-esque, such as Dragonborn, which is funny because I gave the DM now because we were supposed to meet up in a tavern in we were doing Lost Mine and Found Elver, so we started on the road briefly at a tavern beforehand, and we then get introduced to the fact that like there's two Dragonborns in the party. One was a fire, and one was a cleric, I believe. And my character, was very vocally distrusting of them. He did not like them. Now, mind you, though, like this campaign went on for quite a while, like all the way up until Rise of Tiamat. So we did Lost Man and Delver, Horror of the Dragon Queen, and then Rise of Tiamat. And eventually, over the course of over the course of their adventures, now in game time. They've been traveling to each other for nearly a year, and they've been fighting side by side for nearly a year. And my character actually started warming up. Like he started being very defensive about his friends. Like like to the point where he shot an arrow in a guy's leg because this group was impersonating them. Like it wasn't like, oh, you're impersonating me. He was like, you're impersonating my fucking friends. How fucking dare you? And then wow, bam. Now I was lawful evil. Like he's extremely loyal. Now, by the way, this is my first ever D&D character as well. And again, as I said, eventually he went through character development and growth because he's seeing like the fact that this cleric is healing him, it's saving him his life, and he's fighting side by side with the fighter on the front lines because I was playing a front line fighter with the short swords, and it just started developing. Now in comes A. A was playing a human. Now there's certain things I discovered talking privately with A in between sessions that sort of brings to life some of his mentality, and his character he's with the group from the very beginning. His character was also very vocally racist, but it was towards tieflings. Now, throughout the entire up until this point, we have yet to encounter any evil tieflings, or any bandit tieflings, or any questionably aligned tieflings. The only bad guys we've encountered were human cultists, kobolds, goblins, one drow, and stuff like that. Yeah, and a couple of dragonborn, but we never encountered any tieflings. And his character was constantly vocal about like how my character must be evil. Now, mind you, my character was lawful evil, but but my character acted good. He was actually no, my first character wasn't lawful evil. Actually, he was actually what's it called, chaotic neutral. Shit, wow. Again, going back years. But yeah, he's assumed my character is evil because tiefling. And then eventually the DM did call him out a couple of times. Like he was like, Now he was like, I will remind you that like you've been traveling with James for quite some time, and he's clearly shown that he's not evil. That which will then fix the situation for a while, but then the player will go back to being a racist towards my character. Now, mind you, I did talk to the player with the Dragonborns, like, and I did clear with them first. Like when I realized that they were playing Dragonborns, I was like, "Oh shit! Hey, look, my character is this way, but obviously he's going to go through some character development and whatnot. And he's going to realize, oh, Dragonborns are not so bad, or at least like there's at least like again he's still very hateful towards dragons, but like he's no longer hateful toward he will eventually become no longer hateful towards dragonborns. He will realize, okay, I was clearly wrong and about judging dragonborns. This did not happen. We played for a couple of years, like and as I said, like a year of in-game time went by and our characters didn't have downtime where they were separated. A lot of their downtime they spent together in at their manor that they got from Lost Man and Found Elver. So, like, it became increasingly more like, what the hell? To the point where, now again, eventually, again, like, after a few months of playing with them, again, I started hanging around afterwards, after the session, and started talking to A about like, hey, like I'm into this outside of D&D, I'm also into this and whatnot. It turns out A, like, again, like I'm surprised A decided to just eventually tell me. Like I was shocked. Like I was just afterwards. When he left the voice chat afterwards, I was just sitting there like, what the hell did I just listen to? Turns out A is a self-proclaimed neo-Nazi. Yeah. Turns out in real life. It turns out outside of D&D and in real life, he is very much racist. And so it turns out. So me and the DM, eventually the DM discovers, which the DM then is like, I'm black, and this guy said all this to you, and like again I was like, look, you don't have to take my word for it. I again, like, I don't want to stir any trouble, but like I'm just letting you know that I may leave the group because I'm feeling uncomfortable. Because like that was what was going on. The DM did ask me. The reason why I told the DM was because the DM asked me, why are you leaving? And I gave him the reason. And the DM was like, wow. And eventually A was removed from the group after being confronted with the DM. Which apparently the DM is actually Jewish and black. So it was like I don't know if it was the DM that says, look, you're gone, or if it was A, upon the discovery of our DM, was like, oh my god, and then he left. But like in terms of prejudice in D&D, like again, like this is one of the things that you have to, like, is a bit of the issue with playing D&D online. Like you don't know exactly who you might be playing with. Because the reason why I was part of this group, we weren't actually friends who were playing at a table. We were all on Roll20, and we all saw that someone was running Lost Mine and Found Delver, and we all applied to join. So we knew nothing of each other outside of D&D. I wanted to personally change that, so I started hanging around after the games and talking to people. But like, wow. So people, like, again, the world is a messy place. There are prejudices, and like, in my opinion, like I have in my campaigns races that are prejudiced towards others. In my latest campaign, the high elves and wood elves of a certain region are very racist or prejudiced towards the elves of any kind who are from another province. So like it's again, you're going to have that on both sides of when it comes to culture sectors. So that's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna have my worlds be sugar coated. You know, and you shouldn't sugarcoat your worlds. Like, any sentient being are horrible bastards. Humans are horrible bastards. We do horrible things to each other every single day. And hopefully, slowly but surely, those horrible things will be done because of the person doing them are horrible, and it would not be based on skin color or culture or whatever. So hopefully, that will get cleared up. Like, but this is an example of someone's real life behavior influencing their in-game character behavior. Because, like, as I said, despite the amount of time that our characters were spent together, when we came across, like, what if it's clearly an evil idol, his character went on a huge rant, and his character went on like a 3-minute rant about like how my character is not allowed to go near this thing because he's a evil, disgusting tiefling. And like, again, 30 minutes, and clearly his real life attitude towards people was reflective in character. So I can understand why Wizards of the Coast, as a modern day company, are trying to be inclusive and they're trying to be progressive, and I applaud them for that. I would applaud any company for trying to do that. But as I said, obviously timing is everything. They were sort of ill timed with this situation. But like, prejudice in D&D and prejudice in real life is a thing, and we'll be. Even if it is a fantasy set, I know idealistically everything will be black and white, but the world in real life is not black and white, and there should be no reason why it should just be black and white in a tabletop fantasy RPG. Especially when the fact that some of those races are playable. Because, like, again, I play lawful evil tieflings. I played lawful evil humans. I played good. I've actually played a good Yuan-Ti, pureblood. I played a chaotic neutral drow. So it's just like, and again, there's Drist Erden, who's I believe a lawful good or a chaotic good drow. So that's the case. And if Wizards wants to expand on that whole, like, that drow society, if Wizards of the Coast want to expand on the idea that drow and orc societies are not black and white, then fair play to them. Now, mind you, in every campaign setting, like, I've even seen Pearson say, like, "Oh, so people are going to go back and edit the Lord of the Rings so that orcs are misunderstood." No, no one's talking about that. Don't try and exaggerate to try and make a point that there shouldn't be good drow settlements or good drow or good aligned orcs. You know, I don't know. We typecast like the idea of orcs and drow. You do generally think of evil, but like, that doesn't have to be the thing. These are fictional characters. We can change their cultures to better suit what's going on. So either way, I think it's a good movement by Wizards of the Coast. I just feel like it's a bit ill-timed due to how positively charged everything is. I'm not super excited for it. I'm a little like, okay, it's another tool in the toolbox, great. But otherwise, I don't personally often play drow orc, so it really doesn't fucking affect me. It just means, okay, I guess I could do more stuff as a DM and have players, because I've actually had players complain, like saying that drow are not supposed to be this, or orcs are not supposed to act this way. Whereas I'm like, this is my campaign setting, their cultures are whatever the hell I say it is. So I guess this just gives more DMs tools to work with, especially in the Forgotten Realm campaign setting. Because as I said, all this information is on. Oh shit! I have to end my video now because I'm going to turn off. This is Wolf Ninja signing out.